everybody. Welcome into the Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star, and with me today is Kristin, who has possibly the most funnest name. A girl squirrel.
Hello, how are you? Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here because I cannot wait to talk about lists.
So I met Kristin at FlipCon in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I twerked
it's
on
like
you.
Crazy.
And then we hung out at Boss up in the balcony that year.
Also super fun.
Yeah, so much
super fun.
So I started a bullet journal series on my YouTube channel last month. That's fun to say too. Last month was last year.
Yeah, right? Last week was last year.
And Kristin was getting all excited about it and commenting on Instagram. And I'm like, you seem to be really into these bullet journals. So why don't you come on? I was supposed to come on today alone because my original guest had to reschedule. And she's actually traveling right now. She's with family and she still came to be with us, guys. So make sure you thank her.
I'm in Florida. So I'm staying at my family's house and we're, getting some stuff done. And it's always nice to be in warm weather this time of year.
Yeah. It was 60 degrees here the other day and that was warm.
I know. I think it was almost like, I don't know. It felt like 75 or 78 or something. It was so nice. It was so nice out today.
You live in Colorado, right?
So we just moved. So I was in Colorado and at the end of October, we moved to Illinois. We moved closer to our family in Illinois. So we're back home, so to speak.
Both are cold though.
Both are cold, right? They're not 78 degrees, so 75.
Yay, Florida! I gave it almost a year and a half. Didn't like it.
Hey, Angie.
For my mental health, I need all 4 seasons.
I really like all 4 seasons, but it's nice to be able to get away. Hey, guys.
But when I lived in Florida, Christmas didn't feel right. Halloween didn't feel right. Mm-hmm. I gotta have distinctly. My favorite's fall.
Mm-hmm. Same. Do you guys ever have snow on Halloween? That's my favorite.
We have, and we've also had it on Mother's Day on the other end. Yeah.
When I lived in Omaha, we had snow from September to March straight. Hello.
So here it's been unseasonably warm, and on Christmas Eve, I let Keith pick whatever he wanted for dinner, and he picked hamburgers, of course, because it's his favorite. And it was so warm on Christmas Eve. I was out on our deck in the short sleeve t-shirt, barefoot, cooking hamburgers on the grill. I was like, this is definitely different.
You know how like your memories come up on Facebook and stuff? I had a memory that came up that said it was like 2 days before Christmas, windows open. Who would have thought?
See, and then I just had one come up from 7 years ago where it was only 7 degrees.
Oh, see?
And I was like, why do I live in a place where it hurts to breathe?
Oh my gosh. I love seeing that stuff. I am almost never on Facebook now. Almost never, unless I'm posting something to Marketplace. Mm-hmm. But I do like to see when we did photo of the day one year. And I love seeing the photos pop up every single day. That's fun.
And that's a good segue. This is why I like keeping bullet journals, because I can go back and look at any day and see what I did.
Do you keep yours out?
Yes. So this is this year's. It stays open usually to that day.
Yeah.
On my desk.
Mm-hmm.
And on the weekends, I'll take it. My office is on the 3rd floor. So on the weekends, I take it down to the living room so it's near me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can jot ideas. I like to have it as a planner. I write ahead. But also, if something important or special happens that day, I like to write it as well. So to remember it, almost like it's a journal.
Exactly. Okay. So my dad had kept a journal for like all my life. He would write down everything, but I think some of it was to help him keep track of like how long it took him to get something done.
Yeah.
And then he had a special one that he did just for keeping track of his gas mileage, and it stayed in the truck. But when I was struggling in school, I mean, this has been a minute, it's been a while. They gave us those planners, and I've had a planner ever since because that really helped me stay organized. And I would put down the things that like special that happened that day because I didn't really keep a diary.
Yeah.
I just track of all the things that happen. And
That's
mine,
how I always did too. I always had a planner, but like, you know, oh, so-and-so asked me out for a date when I was like 16. You know, you wrote that in and you had a little heart.
yeah, lots of heart.
You practice writing your name with their last name.
Oh my gosh, I was just going to say that too. Yeah. And it's cool to write, like go back and look and see who came over to stay the night or whatever. That's fun for me, but.
Yeah. So I do have I've been keeping planners. I'm 45, y'all. And I've been keeping planners probably since I was like 10 or 12. I started keeping little notebooks of the books I was reading or whatever. And I do have all of them. And
see, I don't have all mine.
They're in Rubbermaid bins in the garage, and sometimes I do. Just
that's cool.
On a snowy day, nothing else to do, I'll go back and just pick one out at random and be like, so what was I doing when I was 15? Or what was I doing when I was 25?
That's amazing. I have some from high school. They were in with like a bunch of letters that I'd saved from, high school. Found them in the attic at my folks' house, and I just have them. But I usually, the last probably 10 years, when I am done for the end of the year with like receipts and all your tax information, I just stick it in with my tax information, box it up and put it away. And then every 4 years we just pitch it. So I have them for about 4 years and that's it.
Wow. No, I keep everything. Okay. So before we get into the actual bullet journals, I bet there's a lot of people that watch my channel that don't even know who you are. And we just jumped in here and started having a conversation. Oh. So I just assume people know my people, but just tell us a little bit about yourself and your reselling and about a little bit about your podcast, which I've actually linked down below too.
So my name is Kristin. I'm a rural squirrel. I've been a reseller. I've been on eBay since 97, but you do it a little and then you take a break and then you do a different job or you move and I like it that it's flexible and I can do whatever. But for about the last 10 years, maybe 11 years, this has been my full-time thing. And I've also been a volleyball coach. I've worked in a school before. I've done a lot of fun things. But when you started talking about your bullet journal, I kind of got excited because my kids have done bullet journals and kind of got me hooked on it. And with all the stickers and the pens, and it kind of brings out that artistic side of me that sometimes you don't have time for, because you're trying to keep track of all your stuff and all your kids and all the appointments that they've got to go to. And that's kind of when the markers come out and the stickers come out. It lets me be a little bit creative and keep track. Yes. You can keep track of stuff. So and I didn't bring my one from last year, but my one from last year is like notebook size. And it had stickers in it and it was great. And I would go through it ahead of time and put all the good stickers in. But this year I have this one. And I got my one last year at Aldi's, the grocery store. Yeah. And I went to go back because I loved it. It was really good. They didn't have any. So this one I got at Dollar General. I couldn't, I'm really surprised, but I get picky about what's inside of mine. Do you?
Well, no, because I use blank ones.
Oh, you use it. Oh,
so like this was last year's, and we talked about this before we came on live. I had like a fourth of a book left, so I'm just using this still. This one wasn't blank, but this was a special gift. Yeah. And in 2021, I always keep the last 2 years in my office. That way, when we do taxes and things like that, I can go back and see if there's notes I need. Yeah. And I keep packing lists and stuff for when I go to events. So I like to have like the last 2 years in my office and then they go to the garage. But I actually have a problem, Kristin.
Okay.
I have a drawer full.
Of notebooks?
Yes. Just empty and waiting to go. So this was a gift from my friend Robert. That's The Shining. Uh-huh. I found this on a clearance
notebooks
at the bookstore.
That's not a problem to have too many notebooks.
That's
a blessing to have too many notebooks.
I got this one at Spirit Halloween, 50% off. So I have a drawer full ready to go. I mean, there's tons more in there. But yeah, I buy blank ones, and so I can set it up however I want it to be, except with the exception of this one. But this was a very special. It's Etsy handmade for bookworms that Keith bought for me.
No, I think that's cool that you've got one that's specifically for that to help you like reach goals for a specific year. This one, I liked it because, okay, I'm going to show you. I want the whole month at a time, especially when you travel, you want to blank out a whole week or something,
Mhm.
but you can see the whole month at a time. But this one's got like its priorities, the to-do list, and then notes and things, and then affirmations. So I like it that it just,
I like it.
yeah.
I'm so nerdy. I love stuff.
I like making lists. And Angie Resells and I have talked about this a lot. We like to do like to-dos and then mark it off. And sometimes we just like to write it down because we just did it. So just so we can mark it off.
No, that's actually a real thing. My friend Jennifer, from List, I met her through List Perfectly. I met her at camp last year.
Okay.
She lives in Phoenix and she'll be on the channel soon, guys. Everyone in List Perfectly knows Jennifer, but she does a to done list. So it's an actual list. So when she's feeling, discouraged or like overwhelmed, she'll actually write down what she did that day so she can feel accomplished. And sometimes you do more than you think you do. And you saw my Instagram post the other day with Frog getting out of bed or Toad getting out of bed.
Yeah.
And said, crossed off, wake up. Because you have to
celebrate little wins.
Everything you do, if you make your bed in the morning, write it down and check it off. You did something.
Yeah, it is. It does feel like that. And I never thought of it as a to-done list, but I have gone through and think, oh my gosh, I've like wasted this day. But then when you do go through and think about all the things that you've got done, oh my gosh, it feels so much better.
Yeah. So if you ever feel discouraged, guys, take 5 minutes after dinner and just think, I did 10 listings. I took 10 pictures. I made the bed. I cleaned the bathroom. I went to the grocery store, whatever you did, because we do a lot more every day than I think we realize what we do.
Yeah. Especially when you feel like you're not getting anything accomplished. It is good to go ahead and write things down. And like your meme that said, Toad said he just got out of bed. Sometimes that's those little things where you just have to force yourself to get out of bed.
Sometimes getting out of bed is all you can do for the day. And that's okay too. But at least you got out of bed. Right?
Exactly.
And then I also do Fly Lady, and she does you're supposed to get dressed every morning first thing because you feel better about yourself.
Okay.
But I live in pajamas. So
Angie and I have talked about that before too, because we live in leggings, and because I'm in Florida, I have on bike shorts, leggings, but shorts.
Yeah.
I won't show you. It's not good.
But I love my pajama pants. So I take a shower first thing every morning, make my bed. And those are two things I accomplish. But I just put on a clean pair of pajama pants. And I have all different colors, and I have some with pumpkins. I wore to the party at Liz Perfectly's event over the summer, the big event at the end. I wore pajama pants to it. Everyone knows I live in pajama pants. Yeah. That's how I'm most comfortable. So I have Halloween ones. I have old man pants. I call them the plaid ones.
Right.
I have fuzzy ones for the winter, thin ones for the summer.
If it's your signature, you should just wear it like Mikey Bags of Money and his Hawaiian shirts. You just wear them.
And I like when it's not cold. I have a treadmill for when it's cold. We do walk every day, an hour. Keith and I. We have our business meeting. We talk about our business. We talk about what we can do better, what we can do more efficiently. It's like this whole time to talk about our business together. And then if we run out of business stuff to talk about, he gets to hear about whatever book I'm reading, and he gets invested. Like he's like, okay, what happened next? Yeah. But when it's cold, I do the treadmill, and he hates the treadmill, but he'll come in and talk, like still talk to me while I'm walking.
Nice though that you've got that together time to be able to like communicate. That's so important.
But I go in the neighborhood in my pajama pants.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, that's me. These are my Halloween ones at Christmas time, people. It's my signature. My graphic tees and my pajamas.
Did you say that you're Halloween all year long at your house?
Yes. So all my furniture and decorations and everything are black or purple. Like our bedspread's black and all of our curtains are purple. But my living room is absolutely decorated thanks to Spirit Halloween Store. I go there every year, the day after Halloween, and decor, like shop for home decor.
That's
I have
awesome.
one wall that's all Hocus Pocus stuff. I have one wall that's all Michael Myers. I have a Friday the 13th, a Texas Chainsaw, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. My daughter likes Nightmare Before Christmas, and she's got a little one. So this year they've kind of like adapted a little bit to where they celebrate that a lot. And that's always been her, like her big Halloween is she gets ready for her big holiday is Halloween. She would get ready for that. And this year they've kind of done a little bit more with Christmas because of it, but she doesn't leave it up all year long, but I think she would like to.
Oh, I do. I have one of those wallflowers from Bath and Body that's like the haunted house. It stays up all year. I have a Halloween tree I put up every year. I'm crazy about Halloween. Love it. And I am a firm believer in everybody should do what makes them happy. So I don't care if the rest of the world thinks my furniture is too dark and it's morbid here because it makes me happy.
Yeah. You know,
if you want to decorate for Christmas, go for it. If you like, people need to do what they want to do to make them happy. Like, I don't like sports at all, but if people enjoy going to sports, I'm not going to tell you not to spend your money on. I have thousands of dollars of Stephen King books back there.
See, I'm not going to judge. You do what you want to do. You know, I'm not going to throw stones.
As long as you're not hurting anyone else, you should be absolutely doing whatever makes you happy. And sometimes, this is important to say, and maybe we need to think about it, write about it in our journal sometimes, but sometimes it means getting rid of toxic people. There's sometimes people in your life that you need to take out with the trash. I don't let anybody mess with my peace.
No, I think it's important to, surround yourself with positive people. Somebody told me once that they just wanted to have happy, shiny people around them. And I think that that's important to me too. I also want to make sure that I am that for somebody else. So I don't know. Yeah. You get what you put out there, right?
Yep. And I say this a lot too, but I'm 45 and I spent a lot of time in my youth and 20s trying to be everything I'm not to please everybody else.
I still do that sometimes.
I don't. I'm at a point where I'm like, this is unapologetically me. And if you don't like it, there's the door. And if you do, we're going to have a good time. But I'm not going to let anybody mess with my peace anymore. And I'm not going to try to be anybody I'm not. Because I spent we all did. You remember when you were always trying to, impress the mean girls or whatever we were doing, or you liked a guy that was completely different than you. So you pretended to be somebody you weren't. I'm not that person anymore. You know?
Yeah. You go through that phase where you're like,
apparently you're getting taken out this year.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. He ditched me. So,
earlier my friend Vanessa said, what about your markers and pens?
Okay. I do like to use different colors for specific things. So if I'm going to be working on something for my channel, I use like a blue, like a turquoise blue, kind of the color that I prefer. It's my favorite. If I'm going to be working on something like for your show, it was purple. So I'm working on somebody else's show. It's purple. If I'm doing something for home, it's red. Got to get it done, right? And if it's something for like my kids, it's one color. And if I'm doing something, that's travel, it's in a different color. So I do use different colors, but I like all my pens to be the same for that day. I don't like it when I've got like ballpoint pen with marker with crayon. I don't like that. I like it to be OCD consistent.
Yeah, me too. So I color code for the month. And since you were talking about how you like the calendar, I make my own. I start out with a blank page.
Okay, you make your own.
And those are all my guests, by the way. And I just color code them for the month. You can see February is red and pink. And I do this with a ruler. And then I do have the weeks as well. So like this is today. And so you can see I put red. These are must-dos and bills I had to pay today.
Exactly.
Look, they're all checked off. Yay. And but I do like everything.
Checked off and it's only 5:30. Good job.
Everything will be blue in January, and And then in months where like February, I do everything in red and pink, my bills will be in like a bright blue or something. Just anything that stands out. I do enjoy these.
Okay. I can't remember the name of the kind that I use, but I think they're Papermate. They're like a marker, but they're not, but they've got a fine point on them, and you can get them in all kinds of different colors. Oh, those are fun too. Okay. I like
have like the thick side to draw with and the fine point to write.
I like the Papermate ones, but I don't travel with them because I don't want to lose them.
Yeah, no. My favorite, I don't even have any in my, I have a cup with my hamster that passed away.
Oh.
Before. I had one, Ahsoka, that just passed away in November.
Oh my gosh.
And this was an MC hamster. We called her Emmy. And I'm actually going tonight after the show to get a new baby.
You are?
Yes. He got me a cage for Christmas, and I've been spending all week stuffing it up and buying toys, and we're going to go pick my new hammy tonight. Side note, Star's getting a new rodent. I'm so excited. I love hamsters. I'm so obsessed. I have Post-it notes with hammies.
That's cute.
I have a cross stitch somewhere. I just bought that I'm going to.
Friends of mine are really into llamas, so everything has been llama here lately.
I just love rodents, but hamsters are the cutest.
Well, squirrels are rodents.
Squirrels are cute too. I love squirrels. You probably don't know, but our house backs up to the woods, and I put food out, and I have chipmunks, squirrels, possums, raccoons, deer.
Oh, I bet.
And a vast array of birds. And I've actually, the one wall to the deck is just all glass. So I have a couch facing it. And I sit there with my phone and look up the birds and try to learn all the different.
I do like the birds. And we talked about my mother-in-law used to feed them, and she would take some out every couple days, the food for them. And she knew each bird, like they have like habits. So she would get very familiar with specific ones.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, but she's not been feeding them this year. We had some really spunky active squirrels when we were in Colorado, and I had thought about like setting up a camera and just watching them and just going live with them all the time. But in order to see the squirrels, my neighbor, he had like blue tarps covering stuff in his yard. So you would only see these guys' blue tarps. And I was like, I don't want to do the blue tarps in the backyard.
Yeah, that's weird. Looks like they're puppies. So I just put food out there for now, but I think in the spring, I want to get one of those ones that attaches to the sliding glass door and the squirrels get inside of it.
I like those. I've been looking for the one that has like a one-way mirror or a two-way mirror, so that it's a mirror on one side, but they can't see that you're looking at them.
Yes.
But that's kind of hard to find. You can't find them just at Lowe's or Walmart going.
On Amazon.
You got to order them. I know. But so I ordered one, and it came, and it was like it was a little bitty thing. I want like a window cover. You know? Yeah,
I do. I'm like Snow White. I go out every morning. And I'm scattering seed and calling my chipmunks and my squirrels.
I don't feed them. I guess I should, but.
So, my pens, I have too many. That's what my friend Vanessa's point was. Do you think I have a problem with a drawer full of empty notebooks? I have 2 drawers full of pens. I have a Rubbermaid tote somewhere full of pens.
Well,
a lot of pens. I have a problem. When I used to work in the healthcare field,
I don't think it's a problem.
We'd have the days where the pharmacists and the doctors would come and visit the nursing homes and stuff. I'd just be like walking around pilfering pens off the tables.
Oh my gosh, girl. So I like markers. Those are my favorite. I don't do colored pencils though.
No.
Okay,
they're too light. They're not dark enough.
They're not dark enough. You can wet them and make them darker, but I still don't like them. I don't like the way it feels when you write it.
I just sold a pair of Judy blue jeans for $63.85.
Just now you did?
Yes.
Good for you.
Thank you, Liz Perfectly, for notifying me. Okay, so yeah, I'm excited. Judy blue jeans are the bomb. My favorite pens, I can't find one. Here's one. These are my favorite, more than markers or anything.
Are they
Bic
gel?
Velocity, or they have the Gelocity. They have regular ones. They're called Velocity, and they have Gelocity. And they come in variety packs of just all kinds of colors. And they have a new pack I saw on Amazon I might get, even though I already have a million pens. It's called the Ocean Pack, and it's like all pinks and blues and oranges.
Oh.
I just like pens. Like Liz perfectly sends me pens all the time because they know about my obsession.
There used to be an art store in Boulder that I would go to all the time, and it was fun because they would have permanent pens, paint pens, ballpoint pens, and it was fun to just go like hang out in there, and sometimes you could smell the pens. I know that sounds weird, but
No.
I get weird about chapstick and makeup that smells. I don't like pens that smell. I smell like the berry, like they're supposed to, like Mr. Sketch. If that's different though.
Well, when they smell like ink, I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I like the way books smell. Like when you go to the library and you can smell the books.
New books smell good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's slightly obsessive, but yeah.
If you're new to this channel, then you probably are if you follow Kristin over. You didn't see any of the series I was doing on a bullet journal. So basically, this is what I tell people. A bullet journal is not what I do. There is actually like a system out there.
Yeah.
The guy that started it, and mine is nothing like his. And so the advice I always give to people about anybody, whether it's Dave Ramsey, who gives really good advice, but not all the time, take what you like, take what you need from Dave Ramsey and leave the rest. I do the Fly Lady system for cleaning, but I leave a lot. I take what I need. So
Marie Kondo, I don't do all of it, but I do. I don't do all of it, but I do a lot of it.
Yes. So I kept journals my whole life, like we talked about, ever since I was a kid. And about 20 years ago, I discovered Fly Lady, and I started doing her system. And she has you do what's called a control journal. Okay. And it's cool. It's like it's your medication list. It's your chores. It's your menus. It's your address book. It's your birthdays. It's your planner. It's basically what I'm doing here. And then about 10 years ago, maybe I discovered bullet journals, and I just took what I liked from that, what I liked from the control journal, and what I've been doing my whole life, and starized it and Frankensized it into like what I do now. But that's the whole point. That's what I tell people. Like a lot of people get overwhelmed and I don't know where to start. Here's the thing. All the bullet journal is a blank notebook for you to write what you need to write and what you want to write to stay organized and have good mental health. That's it.
Yeah. I think that it's more of a bullet journal because they put it's in an outline form. So he's got the dots next to it. It's pretty much the gist of it. But I like to have a template or a guide, something to go by. That's why I like the planners. But I also, Angie knows, we've talked about this a couple different times before. I like the blank notebooks too, because it usually is sitting underneath my planner so that I have like the highlights, the things that have to get done. But if I need to make a lot of notes, like let's say I need to call the bank. So I have to call the bank, but then I have all the notes about what I'm going to talk about with the bank. Or if I have to work on that video, this is the video, but here's the outline on my other notebook. This is what I'm going to talk about in that. So this is like a condensed version, just so that it keeps me organized. The other one is a total disaster, and it's like everywhere. And I do a lot. I have it sit next to me when I'm listing too, because sometimes when you have to go to like research something, you need to make notes because especially if it's something you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And 7,000 Post-it notes. That's right, Angie.
Oh my gosh. I have so many Post-it notes. I just broke a board. Full. I have so many Post-it notes, and I just stick them in my bullet journal, like wherever. But I have notebooks that I keep when I'm doing my measurements for my listings. So nobody else would probably know what this means, but Keith and I do, because this is how we've always done it, and it matches our template. And this is like the last picture I take. And with the jeans.
Oh, so that's a good idea. Yes.
This, and then I take a picture of the item on a scale with its location. So I do have like a separate notebook for my measurements, but I keep everything in here. It's crazy because
everything.
That's why you have an index, man. That's what I tell people. You gotta have, because you go everywhere. You'll have like January, and then you'll have my books I've read this year, and then my video ideas, and then February, and then my medication, like it, everything.
I know. I have a list and then a list with a list. So like everything that I'm listing, and then sometimes I'll do the measurements, depends on what I'm listing that day. But sometimes I've got like the packing thing with you. If I'm just going to be packing for FlipCon, then you pack certain things. But if you're packing for Florida, you're going to pack different things. So I have a list and then a list and then a list.
So yeah, I do too. Actually, mine's a hot mess because
always a hot mess.
So many places last year, and I just kept highlighting it in different colors and then checking stuff off because I didn't want to keep rewriting it. So I just kept changing my highlighter color.
Do you do anything digitally though? Have you seen the ones that it's a notebook, but it's digital?
I don't like it.
I struggle with it. I'm trying to do it because I make a lot of lists in my phone when I don't have my notebooks with me. But I don't. You've seen.
See, I don't. I can't.
If you go to like town to go sourcing, do you take all your books with you when you go?
I only have the one book.
Oh,
because I keep everything in here.
So it goes with you.
Yes, and I cannot stand doing anything on the phone. I'm so old school. But if I don't have it with me and I want to make a list, I go on my Facebook Messenger and I send myself voice messages.
Yes.
And then when I get home, I can listen to those and write down what I need.
Write them in your journal.
I love to write. I love pens. I love paper. I love notebooks. I will never be the kind of person that keeps a planner on my phone. Like my phone I read my books on my phone. I have the library.
Yeah, but that's different because you can then check that off on your list on your notebook.
Yeah. So
did you ever do the Franklin Covey? By the way, if you find Franklin Covey stuff out in the wild, it's still like a hot bolo item.
I don't even know what that is.
So Franklin Covey is like, they used to push it more towards business people that had appointments all the time. And then they would teach everybody. That's where I learned initially how to keep like a professional journal. They sent me, when I worked in corporate, they sent me to a class to learn how to use this calendar. And they had lots of different like segments and sections that you could add to it. And it was in a binder, like a ringed binder, so you can add different days to it. And it was really interesting and it was really cool because they could then transfer everything over to digital. Yes. But if you find the binders or any of the old like notes, like unopened packages, they sell really well. So
cool.
Not for like friends, but
they're like Lisa Frank for adults.
Yeah.
So,
hey, Gretchen,
how do you manage your shipping? You travel so much, totally jealous. So how do you manage the packing up and shipping on time?
So, you can put your store on time away mode for up to 15 days and still make sales. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, there's usually like a header at the top of your store that says this seller is away. So what I do is I message when I sell something, I copy and paste from my notes a message that says, hey, hope you noticed that I'm on time away mode. I'm not going to ship it until this date and I hope that's okay. And I bet in all of these last 4 years, I bet I've only had like 2 people that have said, ooh, yeah, cancel that for me. And then the buyer asked to cancel it. So it's not a ding against me. But I also have my shipping time set for like 2 days, sometimes 3 days, but it's always been that way. I don't do next day shipping, same day shipping. So I will never be one of those high priority, best in the world sellers because I choose not to be because I'm going to travel. So then when I get back 15 days, up to 15 days, then I've got 2 more days to ship it.
So I have a Keith who has crippling social anxiety. So he does not go to events with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it works for us because he never wants to be, that's his thing.
Sure.
But he doesn't care where I go or how many I go to. I could go to 50 a year. As long as I don't ask him to go or force him to do anything he doesn't want to do, he's like, go. But he stays here and does all of our shipping.
That's awesome.
We do same day, but our cutoff is 8 a.m. So at 8:01 a.m. in the morning, we don't have to ship anything until tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, you really do have to make a cutoff.
We're usually 8:30, 9 o'clock. We're in here shipping. But yeah, I had him go with me to eBay Open one year, and he was so uncomfortable, and it just was not. It's not that he doesn't like people. He like literally has social anxiety. He cannot be in crowds. Yeah. He can't be, and that's fine. He accepts things about me that aren't so great either.
I have the opposite problem, and it can be a problem because I don't recognize sometimes that some people are like, don't want to be around people because I'm like, hey, how are you? Let's go do.
You're like, give me a hug.
I know. Hey, what's going on? Let's go check this out. Have you seen this? And then I'm an extroverted person in an introverted world. So
there's actually a word for that. Or no, sorry, I'm an omnivert. So I'm secretly an introvert, but at times I need socialization, so I become extroverted. But then it's just too much for me. Mm-hmm. So I go to these events because I do get to the point where I'm like, okay, I've been a hermit and a recluse for 7 months. But by the end of the 3 days, I'm like, oh my God, this is so much. I need to go home. And I'm having anxiety.
Right.
So it's called an omnivert when you're kind of both.
So I think it's because I had 4 kids, so I was constantly on the go. And then I don't stop very much. So I'm constantly doing something, and then we're going somewhere all the time. So that I think, if you're always in motion, it's hard to stop the motion. So when everybody says, hey, let's go to FlipCon, let's go to Boss, let's go whatever, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Come on. And let's just keep going. Let's just go. I just thrive on that going kind of energy.
I remember when I saw you at Boss, I'm like, oh, you're here too, because we had just met at FlipCon.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, somebody said something. So I was like, why not? Let's go. I'm like,
yeah, because when I met you, I literally didn't know that I was going to be there that year until the day before.
Oh, wow.
And I kept telling Katie and Vicky that I'm going to show up maybe the day before. I probably won't get a ticket until I get there. And they're like, ha, 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 ha. And when I got there, they were like, oh, you meant it. Yeah.
I've always been like the kid. Even when I was a kid, I was an only child.
Okay.
And I always had my nose in a book. I was always reading. But when you put me in a social situation, I'm fine. I can be social. I can be that person, but only for so long. And then I need my books.
Yeah, I understand that. Sure. Yeah. I'm fine by myself, but I'd rather be around people.
I'm fine around people, but I'd rather be by myself. Does that make sense? Like, I'm totally comfortable going to the movies alone because he doesn't like horror movies.
Okay.
I can go sit at a restaurant with a book. I don't care. Like, I like myself. Took me a long time to get here though. Like that whole thing we were saying earlier. I spent a lot of years struggling with trying to be what other people wanted me to be. And I'm like, you know what? I need to like myself. I don't care what other people think.
Yeah. No. Well, when you spend a lot of time by yourself, you get used to it. So
yeah. And I was an only child. So
yeah, that probably helped. I have one sibling. So, but he's my brother. So, boys and then girls sometimes is different.
Yeah.
If I had a bunch of sisters, it'd probably be different too, but different dynamics. He does not keep a bullet journal and he doesn't really resell, but he does collect. So I do talk to him quite a bit, and especially about like things that I don't know about. He's a great resource. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So if you're new to bullet journals, guys, you start with an index. Actually, you start with a future log. Lies in the sea. But mine is in the back now because I restarted. But your first page.
What do you use for your index?
What do you mean?
Your tabs. I'm sorry. What do you use for your tabs? I see your index. I'm sorry.
These?
Yeah. Oh, those are Post-it notes. Is that what you use?
No, they're from Temu.
Sorry, I got distracted. I saw
That's
your pretty
fine, that's
tabs and I was like, tell me more.
I got them from Temu. So if you're gonna go order those thank you stickers I showed you, you have to have a $10 minimum order. So
Okay. Yeah.
And then I write on them with really fine point permanent marker. And I just have certain things I want to be able to get to really quick.
Yeah.
Daily.
But I don't have any tabs yet this year, except for like the month. I don't have
and these are part of the journal.
They're part of it.
Yeah, the little Yoda heads.
Yeah.
The Friends one is like that too. It's part of the journal.
Oh, that's so cute.
I know.
We had like messages books. Remember back in the old days whenever you had to write down a message because somebody called? When I worked in corporate, we had books that were message tabs. So anytime somebody would call, I would write down the stuff, and they had it sectioned out. There was like 5 on a page.
Yes. And you could rip them off one at a time. Like they were perfect.
This one did not rip off. It was a notebook that flipped through, but I would write down their stuff, and then sometimes I would have to go into the second box section, and then I would take the Post-it notes and put them in the notebook, and I called those my fires. That meant that I had to follow up with it, and when I got done with it, then I could take the Post-it note off, and I was done with that fire, put that fire out.
Yeah.
So that's where I knew my fires was based on where those tabs were.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so your first page is actually going to be your future log. And the reason you do one of those is because if you don't have a planner like Kristin's where the whole year is already written out for you, if you're starting with a blank journal, chances are you're not going to want to sit down and make 12 calendars and 12 weekly lists for every single month. I usually do 2 or 3 months at a time.
Okay.
I actually have a personal tradition. It's kind of nerdy, but sometime in December, I sit down and watch Home Alone and Home Alone 2, and I start setting up for the next year. And I usually get about 4 months done.
In 2 movies, so about 4 hours, you can get 4 months done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because my weeklies just look like that.
Okay.
So you have your future log, because if you're starting with a blank journal, you're not, I don't have May in here, right? But if something comes up that I'm going to be doing in May or June or July, I put that in the future log. And then when I create that month, I can add it in, right?
Okay.
So
I understand. Yes.
So, like I have December and September already in this future log for this year.
Yeah.
Because I don't have this
calendar. When you do your calendar, you can take those items and insert them in then to your, okay, that makes sense.
Yes. So you have your future log so that you don't have to do all your calendars at once. And then your second page should be your index. And that's because also a bullet journal can become very hodgepodge. Like for instance, page 1 is January 2023. And then, page 5 is January 2nd through February 5th. And then before I even have May, I've got video ideas, to-dos and projects, books read. So you just keep track of everything you have in your bullet journal and you number the pages yourself. Don't sit down and spend 10 hours numbering an entire blank journal. Number them as you use them, right?
Right.
And then you just write down. So I can look in here, as hodgepodgey as it is. I know my books are on page 50. And
so then you update your index as you go through the year?
Yes. So every time I add a new page.
Okay, that makes sense too.
Every time, like, I left off.
That would be easier than so we did ring binders.
So this is 189 is my last part of my Fly Lady method there. I haven't numbered this, but I started to write down my goals for 2024. So I would number this 190 and then go back to the index, put 24 goals on it.
Yeah. And you kind of have to stay organized that way in order to be able to find stuff. I should do that with not my planner, but my notebook. Because sometimes I'll think, now I know I talked to that person and this is what they said. So I go back to
I have lots of posties. all over the place in here with just extra notes or something somebody said that I want to remember.
Yeah.
Tons of stickers. But yeah, you have to stay on top of it. So what I usually do is Sunday night for like 10 minutes, I sit down, I look at the past week. What didn't I do? Because that's got to be moved to do this week, right? If you
right. That's the thing that I don't like.
You got to move it. So
I
you
know.
got to look at what you didn't do and move it. And I try to, like I said, I take like 10 minutes. I don't really overthink it. But I try to figure out why I didn't get it done.
Yeah.
Is it because it's I call them the I don't want-us? Yeah. Is it I don't want to, and I'm just going to keep avoiding it and kicking it to the next week because it's something I don't want to deal with it? Then I just need to man up and deal with it, right?
Either that or just let it drop off. Prioritize it. Is it really that important anymore?
So I look back at the past week, move everything forward. I make notes where I'm really proud of myself. Like, look at this day, look what I did. And I make notes of important things, like I got a hamster, or it snowed, or I bought my new car, or whatever. And then I go to the next week and make sure I have all my stuff written down that I needed to do that week. So I spend like 10 minutes a week.
Yeah, there usually isn't much. I call it my carryover, right? So yeah, I don't usually have a whole lot of carryover. The thing about this year is I used to be, I would have like, you got your month, and then I would have, the next page would be a whole week. So I'd have the whole week to be able to look at stuff. Plus, so it would do Monday through Friday on one side, Saturday and Sunday, and then it had like a whole section here of lists and priorities and things that I need, that I can touch on. So everything that was here was only on a portion. So now I've got more room to write it, but it's one day at a time. So my carryover could be like a lot. So it's going to be a big push to make sure that I get, if it's on here and I've written it down, I have to get it done because I hate carryover. I cannot stand carryover. It makes
me feel bad. That's why I try to figure out why I didn't do it. Right. So instead of feeling, bad about myself or I failed, I try to, because there's always a reason. There's always a reason why you didn't. Yeah. And a lot of times it's stuff that you couldn't help. Something happened and you had to leave the house.
Oh, for sure.
Like with me, if I have a really bad pain day, I have to go lay on the heating pad. I'm clearly not going to be standing on my feet taking pictures. Yeah. But yeah, mine is, I set it up so it's Monday. I don't know if you guys can see. I have no depth perception. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and this whole section's for notes.
Oh, that's a good idea. That note section is not big enough for me.
I put stickers in there. Well, that's just like notes for the week. I have separate lists in here for, let me see my index, and I'll tell you what kind of nerdy things I keep track of. The books I've read, I keep track of every year, and I actually, you want to see how nerdy I am? Y'all want to see how nerdy Star is? I keep, everybody say hi to Baby Yoda. Hi. For being an OCD person, please don't look at my desktop. It's terrible. It's so disorganized. It's horrible. I don't understand how I let it get that bad because the rest of my house is so clean. I'm like Monica from Friends. But anyway, every month, at the end of the month, I keep track in my bullet journal a list, but then I make these cute little things. I'm trying to find December's. I guess I didn't save it. We'll look at November. I make these little pictures of all the books I read that month. And I do it every month. Every month I keep track of all the books. And then at the end of the year, I pick my favorite from each month and do this bracket. So I come out with my favorite book of the year.
That's actually really cool, Star.
So nerdy.
No, it's not nerdy. It's really cool. So I thought there was something in your Kindle that would tell you how many you've read. My daughter had one she reads all hers on her tablet.
So I I did have Kindle Unlimited, but I wasn't using it. So I canceled it for now because I'm a big fan of not paying for stuff I'm not using.
Yeah.
I have Libby, which is the library. Yes.
No, that's what she has. Does it chart it for you or keep track of what you did this year? Okay.
No. Goodreads does.
She must have did what you've got and just did it.
Well, I do Goodreads. So you put the book you're currently reading and then you rate it. and it tells you at the end of the year how many you had. But I read from the library because I really almost read a book a day, and we'd go broke faster than a drug addict if I bought all my books. So, I mean, it would cost a lot of money. So that's the joke around here. And I always tell Keith, well, I could be a drug addict, but it's books. And I actually read most of them in the library for free. So, cool. But I do keep track of my books in here. I have a list for my medications. I have all my Fly Lady cleaning zones in here. I have a tax prep list we use every year when we're getting ready for taxes. So we remember to get Poshmark and Boxery and Etsy and everything. And then I have to-dos and projects for work, and then like a to-dos and projects for life.
Yep.
Because they're separate.
Yep.
They're very separate things. I have video ideas, notes from conferences. I mean, this is when I say everything.
Everything, you mean it. That's a good idea.
Notes from FlipCon and everything are in here. Everything.
Cool.
And like I was in a listing party, and my friend Dawn was teaching me about selling fabric. And I was writing notes in here, and I just put the page number and put it in the index. Notes on fabric from Dawn, and I put little posties and stuff that he told me how to do it, because it's something I want to get into this year.
Yeah. Do you have a fabric collection?
No, I don't even know anything about it. I don't have any.
Oh, okay.
And then I bought some jewelry, which I'm going to unbox next week. And I have a little postie note of keywords Dawn helped me with for when I start listing it.
Nice.
And it's just stuck to my other notes from him about the fabric, and I've highlighted the most important. That's
really a good idea. I never thought about putting my notes like in my calendar as I'm going along and then adding to it. I have thought about that, but not in a notebook like we've got. I was thinking we used to do it with Franklin Covey, where we would do binders, like 3-ring binders, only theirs were like 6 or 8 rings. And then you would add the notes into the middle of the month. That kind of makes sense. You're doing the same thing, only you're condensing it to like quadrants of the year instead of adding it to it every day. That's a good idea.
Yes. A spiritual journal for Christmas that has extra pages each month. Yes. I like stuff with extra pages, but when I say I keep everything in here, it's my personal life, it's my business, it's everything.
Yeah.
Because I like to have this one book that I can take anywhere.
Well, and that's why I like doing the like different colors, because if I'm like, I know I need to get however many listings done today, but I also want to do this and this and this for my business. I only have to focus in on finding the blue ones. And if I know that I need to do, I think my daughter asked me to do this or that, I can't remember what it was. So I just have to go in and look for the orange ones. So I know what I can zone in on if I'm in that part of my brain thinking about just that. It helps me compartmentalize and make it not as daunting and overwhelming. So I think that also when you're making lists and all the things that you have to get done for the day, it can feel like there is so much on your plate. So with the color coding, it makes it a whole lot easier to think, okay, I'm only going to do the purple ones right now. I'm going to just focus on the purple, and it's only 3 things. So it doesn't feel as overwhelming and like suffocating sometimes, because you've got 50 things, literally 50 things to do, but I only need to work on yellow right now. Now I'm only going to work on red. Now I'm only going to work on blue. And it helps me stay on task and not feel like I'm drowning.
That makes total sense. I'm super type A, so I have very strict routines. And so like I do the same things every day. Every Thursday is the same, but it's different from Wednesday, if that makes sense.
Right.
And so I don't have that many to-dos, because I know Friday I have to set up my sales on eBay. Yeah. I do my live show. I do my true crime party for Liz Perfectly. And every Friday is the same. And then I know every Tuesday is when I'm pushing listings out to Macari and Poshmark, or every Wednesday I go grocery shopping and then I film my videos. Yeah. I film all my videos in one day.
Wow. Okay.
And I just change my shirt in between. So I mean, everyone knows by now. It's not a secret. I don't even know why I just don't wear the shirt. But And
You
then
should just have one shirt that you wear every single time, like Fred Flintstone has the same outfit every single time, and then that will just be your video filming shirt. Then you won't have to change shirts every time.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But I like to show my shirts because my whole thing is
True.
my graphic tees and my pajamas. But and then like as far as cleaning, I do the Fly Lady method, or I've taken from her what works for me. So
I'm gonna have to look her up because I don't know about that.
I just take from her what works for me. So every week we're in a different room of the house. And if you have clutter, you spend time decluttering it. And if you don't have clutter, then you just do deep cleaning. Okay. And so I know what room I'm in each week, and I know what I'm doing. I know Saturdays I clean the bathroom while the pizza's in the oven for lunch. Like very, very type A. So like every Saturday is the same. I work half a day, and then I put a pizza in for lunch. And while that's cooking, or while the oven's preheating, I empty the dishwasher. And then while the pizza's cooking, I clean the bathroom. So I don't have to have like these big to-do lists because I have very strict routines and do things in the same order on the same day every week.
No, and that makes sense. I would like to be a little more organized that way, but because of the way our life is and the way our schedules are, then I don't get to do that. Like I'm here, not at my house.
Yeah.
And we travel at least once a week. We're somewhere. So
my anxiety just went up.
Well, I won't be able to like, so when we get home, that we have to do all of it in one day.
Yeah.
Like I can't just clean just the bathroom today. I have to clean all the bathrooms and the kitchen and vacuum.
My back won't let me. So
yeah,
this works for me. This really works for me because it's like 15 minutes of cleaning a day. So if you have disabilities, Fly Lady is really good.
No, that sounds amazing. I would love to do that, but
I cannot. My back just is a butt head. But
so
you're saying you travel once a week. I was going to tell you sometimes I go 2 or 3 weeks without ever stepping outside my front door.
And I have done that before, like a lot
in the winter. It's great. We go sourcing at the end of summer, in the fall. We oversource and we buy tons of wholesale and we load the garage up, and I just list from that so I don't have to go out in the winter. And then we'll order our groceries, or I'll try to get like 2 or 3 weeks of groceries at a time.
Yeah.
And I'm walking on the treadmill because it's cold. So there's literally like times where it's like 3 weeks and I look outside. I have my little window where I see my animals, but I'm just content. Like that's me. Yeah. I want a very boring, predictable life.
Yeah. No, I think that if it works for you, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's not going to work for somebody who has ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I try to teach people on this channel. If you want to emulate me, you're going to have to do it in smaller chunks. So like I do all my photos on Thursday. I spend 8 hours doing pictures. Somebody with ADHD isn't going to be able to hyper focus the way I do.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you need to like do a 2-hour chunk every day of the week.
Yeah.
Or if you have type A personality and you can hyper focus, toss some true crime on or some Disney movies, whatever you like, and sit for 8 hours.
Gosh, the true crime. I got my mom. I kept saying, we got to get you on a podcast. So I was listening to, I have one podcast that I like religiously listen to, and it's Crime Junkie. So every Monday I got to listen to my Crime Junkie. That's the only one that I'm like, so I've kind of got her hooked because she's like, I don't understand why you do the podcast. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's just a bunch of people talking. I'm like, well, yeah, but if it's about good stuff.
It's so like the radio shows back in the old days.
Right. So we listen to podcasts. So it was a 2-day drive to Florida. So for 2 days, we listened to a whole series. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I like to watch it, but I don't watch it. I just listen. So I should probably do podcasts, but I'm really addicted to Dateline right now. So I'm going back and watching all the old ones.
Yeah.
Peacock had a deal on Black Friday where it was like $20 for the full year streaming.
Are you kidding? I missed that one. Shoot.
So I paid $20 and I have Peacock until like next Black Friday, and they have all the old Datelines and so many true crimes. And I sit here for like 8 hours and take pictures, but
so I do that
work for everybody.
With my list and my other last year's, and I didn't bring it with me, and I feel really bad I didn't bring it with me, but in my last year's list, this is my monthly to-dos. It's in the notes section, but I would have like a whole page of just, I'm going to watch this show and don't forget about that show. And that's going to be a good movie. And somebody told me to, so all the shows that I want to watch, trying to keep up with that is really hard. So I would do the shows that I want to do. And then this is all of the, like, I call them extracurriculars, the pottery class that I want to take, and the watercolor class that I want to take, and the sewing thing I want to do. So all the extracurriculars that I wanted to do, hobby stuff. You know?
I have a list for that too. I actually put cross stitching as a goal for the year.
Okay. Have you done that before?
Well, yes. So right now I do the diamond dots.
Oh yeah, that sounds like so much fun. I've not done that, but it's got to be similar to cross stitch.
It is very similar. And I used to cross stitch in my 20s, but it's been 20 years, so I don't know if I remember how.
Right.
I'm trying to find it to show you. Oh, here it is. I got one to learn.
Ooh, oh, it's a hamster. Of course it is. I thought you were going to show me like some sampler or something.
No, I got a little hamster. So I want to I host a listing party
with the crime junkie stuff.
So List Perfectly has listing parties, and I host one every Wednesday evening where we craft.
Oh, fun.
And the whole point of the party is to take a break from work-life balance, do something to de-stress, because crafting is really good for your mental health. It's really good for anxiety. Like when I do my diamond dots, it relaxes me. It helps with my anxiety and my insomnia. So we have a crafting party once a week, and people do all kinds of stuff. Some people make pictures. Some people work on their bullet journal. Some people do puzzles. They're sewing, all kinds of stuff going on. It's really fun. And then I do a true crime one every Friday. We just talk about murder.
That actually sounds like a lot of fun. And I would love to be like involved in things like that, because that is so easy for me to get lost in that and still be able to get listing done.
Yes. So I can't. It's so weird because I can have a movie on and list and focus and still hear. Yeah. But I can't talk to people on list, or I'll start typing what I'm saying or telling you what I'm typing.
Oh, for sure. I can't be in like a live show and list, although I want to be and you feel like you should. I don't. So
I can't. So I save I do some extra pictures on Fridays. So bye or hi.
Hey.
Sorry. I know how to read. I do most of my pictures on Thursdays, like I said, but the hour and a half that I'm in my true crime on Fridays, I do pictures because you don't have to focus on pictures while you're talking.
Exactly. Yes.
So, is there anything else I wanted? Just a couple things I wanted to show you. I think the three most important things to remember about a bullet journal. The first thing I said earlier about don't get overwhelmed. All the bullet journal is either a planner that has predated dates or a blank journal for you to keep track of what you need to keep track of. And everybody's life is different.
It's your brain on paper.
It's your life on paper. It's whatever you want it to be.
Right.
And a lot of people get really hung up on it. And, I get a lot of emails and messages. And I always just tell people you're overthinking. What do you want to write down? Do you want to write down how many listings you did that day? Do you want to write down how many poops your dog took? I mean, you got it's for you, because everybody's business model is different. Everybody's family life is different. Everybody's likes and interests and things are different. So,
and the way they process it, because like the way you process your bullet journal and the way I process my bullet journal, although it's the same, it's different. It's still your whole life, the things that you have to keep organized and visualize. It's so different. But I could look at yours and be like, oh yeah, that totally works for you. That makes sense. I really like that. I'm going to do mine.
Yeah. So when I went to the List Perfectly camp event over the summer, we had an impromptu we planned it like a couple days ahead of time, but we all met in the lobby and we just sat in a circle, and I held a class on bullet journals, and I actually passed mine around the group. And I mean, there's personal stuff in here, but one thing my dad always taught me was never write anything down that you don't want the whole world to know.
Well, sure. Yeah. But
Now, I do have a different notebook for very private, like diary thoughts.
I don't have that.
But like this could fall into the hands of anybody and whatever.
Yeah.
So they passed it around and they were like, and I got to look at other people's and we shared sticker. It was such a good time.
Oh my gosh, the stickers. Yes. So I've done this where you sit and talk everybody about all the way this is the way I do it. This is with your bullet journal or with your planner or whatever, keeping track of stuff. There was same thing. There was about 3 of us and we started doing like sticker trading, just like we did like in 5th grade. It was so fun. It was like 1983 all over again.
Yes, we were passing around like bags of stickers and just sharing, and it was a good time. This is one of the things I really geek out about because I love pens, papers, notebooks, lists. I love planning. I love being organized. I love writing. I love just everything about this soothes everything inside of my OCD.
Well, I like to be organized. That's not to say that I'm always organized because my life is not like regimented as much as yours because I might be like I'm in Florida now, but next week I might be in Kentucky. The week after I might be in Oregon. You don't ever know.
So next Friday at this time, I'll be on this live show.
Yes. And I will be who knows where. So yeah, let me feel like I'm organized, even if I'm not.
This can be anything you want it to be. Just keep an index. That's probably the most important thing.
Never thought about the index. That's a good idea.
Keep an index. That way you can number your pages. And look, I try to be artsy fartsy this year. I'm gonna tell y'all, I am such a bad artist. I can't even draw my own bath. But I drew a bookshelf.
Oh, that's actually really cute.
So I'll color these in with like a light pastel color and write the titles of books in as I read them. I worked really hard on this. It took half of a Home Alone movie.
So how many books are on there though? So is that your goal for the year? Is that many? Okay.
No. I'm like, oh no. In 2022, I read 92 books.
Wow.
And in 2023, I only read 74.
Okay. So last year, my daughter's goal was 100 books. So that was what she was trying to get to, was 100 books with little kids. And I think she got to like 98 or something. So she just, if I could just have a whole day, I could get another book in, but I don't think she could get it. So
there's 26. That's, if I'm in a good cozy mystery series, I can read more than that in a month.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. If you've got a good one that you like, then definitely.
Yeah. Kristin, excuse me. Are you a one-woman eBay seller or do you work with others?
Nope, it's just me.
And she did not realize you had 4 kids either.
Yeah. And, sometimes I can get maybe one of them to go and ship for me if I had to, but not generally. No.
But they're not little kids, right?
No, they're grown-ups with their own children. Yeah.
Yeah. Kristin, tell the people how old you are because it's so shocking. You look so young.
So 50.
She's 50, guys.
Yeah.
It's like Jennifer Aniston up in here.
And I've got grandbabies too. So my kids are all over the place now. So they're not close to me proximity wise. We're close, but not proximity. So they wouldn't be able to help me at all anyway, but they know the business, and a lot of them are on Poshmark because it's easier for them to get rid of a lot of the clothes that they have. Yeah. So
my boys are grown. I have 2.
Yeah.
They're adults. My 19-year-old is a manager and runs a pizza place. He's like going places.
Oh, he's busy then.
Yeah. It's a local pizza place. He lives out on the other side of PA near his dad. And it's like a little local place. So the owner had shut it down for 2 weeks over the summer. So he was able to come here and stay with me for 2 weeks.
Oh, that's so nice.
But his older brother, I haven't seen in a while. I mean, they just move away and, we talk and stuff, like you said, but
yeah.
I don't know what my point was. Oh, when they were teenagers, we taught them the business and we paid them. We paid them to go sourcing. Yeah. We taught them how to source, how to take pictures. But they don't, if Colton, the 19-year-old, I'm trying to get him out here. I'm like, there's pizza places out here. Come on. Until you get on your feet. but you know, like I would probably pay him to help and stuff. But
I've had them like when I had one that was at home for, through high school, and I would pay her to do like photos for me, but she was in high school. She had so many other things that she wanted to do, not this. They know how to. And I have one that, well, I have a couple that strictly buy things at thrift stores, personal use, but they could if they wanted to. They're not there yet. And I was in a phase where I was on eBay, but I was busy with life and the kids, and I didn't do as much eBay. So they'll get into it if they want to.
If they want to. I mean, I taught them everything they need to know. And,
but my husband would no. I've had to have him set things out for me before. Like whenever I was a boss or something, I was like, hey, I just sold that Christmas tree. Can you set it out on the porch? Somebody's going to do a porch pickup. And he was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, see, this was actually Keith's business first. And I'm sorry if you're a long-term viewer, you've heard the story a million times, but Kristin hasn't heard the story. You heard how we got the name Flippin' Hippos. I told you that.
Yeah, you told me that.
So this was his business. He actually started it because he was selling off. He has like some Goku or some nerd stuff. He was World of Warcraft and little figurines that he didn't want anymore. He was selling to get money to get new stuff.
Right.
So he sold comics and stuff. And then he decided he really liked it, and his job was very toxic, and he hated it there. Yeah. So he built it up to be his full-time job and replace his income. And right as he was getting ready to put in his 2 weeks, I got hurt.
Oh, man.
And I got disabled, and I couldn't work outside of the home anymore. So he gave it to me. Like, basically, he's like, okay, you do it full-time and replace your income, and we'll just keep going and build it up till we can both do it, which is what we did.
That's awesome.
But it was his first, and he stayed at this horrible job. Toxic. But it was sink or swim for me because I didn't have any other way of making income. So this was it. But we probably took us a year to build it to where he could have quit his job. But we love Dave Ramsey. And so we were like, I'm going to one-up him. He always says to have that 6-month emergency. I wanted 1 year.
Oh, wow. Good.
Of our income basically saved up. So he stayed at the job another year. And when he put his 2 weeks in, the next day the world shut down and COVID happened, and he would have gotten laid off anyway. And things happen for a reason, right?
Right. Everything happens for a reason. Exactly. Oh my gosh. So then that's when reselling was like the best it's ever been.
Golden age of reselling, man.
Yes. I mean, I've been on here for 26 years. I mean, it's gotten different and harder and ebbs and flows, but that little window of COVID part when everybody was reselling, it seemed like everybody was a reseller because we needed something to do. It was still the best reselling.
Because everybody was sitting at home shopping and got free money. They didn't have to pay rent. And it was just it's
still not that bad. There's still, I mean, people are used to buying stuff online now because, I mean, my folks would never think of buying anything online ever before. And my dad sold on eBay a lot, but he would rather go to the store than to buy it on eBay. So after all of that, he's like, well, I looked to see if they had it on eBay before I went over to Hobby Lobby. What?
It's a very rare day that there's not an Amazon box on my porch.
Yeah. But
I think it's because we're such reclusive hermits. If I know I need, hand lotion or eyeliner, I don't want to go to Walmart. I just order it.
Well, I mean, sometimes I don't think of it until my husband, he'll be ordering a case of deodorant because he's like, I was sitting there in the middle of the night and remembered that I was out of it. So I just ordered it. So whenever the store's not open, we just order it. Part of the bullet journal series is the menu planning, where I talk about how I do my grocery lists. Okay, let's come back to that in a minute. Yeah.
Never run out of anything. Anytime anything is half empty or half full, however you want to look at it, it goes on our list on the fridge. And I'm very, very organized about that. So we don't run out of anything. I don't like to go down the makeup aisle at Walmart. I'm just going to say it. They're narrow, and there's usually 50 women with their carts in the middle, and
I don't go down the makeup aisle.
Yeah, I do. See my beautiful makeup. No.
I'm proud of you. My mom would love it if I would wear makeup. But
So I wear it on Fridays.
Oh,
And I wear it on Wednesdays when I film. And that's probably why I do all my videos in one day. So I only have to wear makeup
yeah.
in one day to film all my videos. And let me tell you, girl, Thursday, the day I sit here and do videos the day I do photos for 8 hours,
Yes.
I look like a homeless girl. I'll have on the pajamas shirt that has like the hole going down and side boobs hanging out and
Yeah.
hair's like this,
Oh,
no makeup.
you'd have seen me earlier. You would have been like, ooh, because I had my hair up, but not in my top knot.
Uh-huh.
In a claw. And when I got back, my claw was hanging over here on the side of my head and some of it was hanging out. It was a disaster, but
that's how I look pretty much every day that I'm not on here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I would rather wear the claw sometimes because the ponytail kind of like goes flopsy and then it
makes my migraines worse when I do a ponytail.
Sometimes I'm so used to it that it doesn't bother me anymore. But yeah, I have so much hair.
By the way, I do think you have very pretty hair.
Thank you.
I've always thought that. And I've always been jealous of how thick and luxurious your hair is. So pretty. And it grows fast because you just like chopped it off recently.
I did chop it off like a lot, but it grows really fast. It's really thick and it's heavy, which is why I have the undercut because it's hot too. So I shave it underneath so that it's not as hot and it's not as heavy. It's very pretty though. You're very pretty. Thank you. I wasn't going for a look, although I don't mind the look. I think it's fine with the undercut, but it was more about function than it was about trying to be hip and cool.
My crafting night is Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. If you are a List Perfectly subscriber, it doesn't matter which subscription you have access to the listing parties. So listingparty.com. And then it's a Zoom call. And if you're not comfortable being on camera, you don't have to be. You can turn your camera off and just listen to everybody else talk.
Yeah.
You can be on mute if you don't want to be. It's just like my parties are very chill, very relaxed. I try to do fun parties because I'm all about that work-life balance. And so we just get together. Like my camera actually is usually aimed at my table and you're looking at my project I'm working on. And we just chill. Some people drink wine. It's whatever.
Just do whatever.
I'm 56. I'm going to read this comment real quick.
Yeah.
Keep your thought, though. Don't forget it.
Oh, we're going to come back to it.
I'm 56. 5 kids. 4 still at home. And 2 of the grandbabies, 3 and 5.
Wow.
And you cook for all of them.
Wow. That's a job. Good for you.
That's a lot. I love to cook. It's one of my passions.
I don't like to cook.
And I cook like there's 8 people living here. Just us. So we breathe a lot of food.
I don't do a lot of cooking, but my husband loves to cook. He's really good at it. His mom is really good at it. He's really good at it. And I am good at doing dishes. So I don't mind cleaning him up. He's a great cook. And if I say, hey, today I want to have filet and tomorrow I want to have scallops, he'll be like, I'll take care of it. He can cook anything. And I always said that for my last meal, I want it to be his blackened trout. He's so good at some stuff. So I don't have to do a lot of that, but I know that you did like a planner that did like meal planning. There's something that is so satisfying about that. And I would love to do things like that. But have you ever done the meal prep parties where you get together with some other people and you bring your recipe and you meal prep for the week, but you bring a recipe already cooked for like however many people are going to be at the meal prep party? So
no. That's social. Now I would do a virtual listing party, maybe
okay.
I'll schedule one of those where everybody can bring a menu, not a menu, a recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I would do that. Like I'm totes cool hanging out with 1,000 people on my computer. It's fine, but
okay, yeah,
I'm in my house. Where I'm comfortable. But no, there is something very satisfying about it. And we are switching. I mentioned this in my live show last week. If you already heard. Apologies. You repeat yourself a lot on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, you do.
I've been struggling with wanting to go bi-weekly rather than every week grocery shopping.
Okay.
And my biggest hang up for me was I love salad for lunch. It's my favorite thing to eat.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, how do you handle the fresh stuff then?
So I was about to say fresh wouldn't last a week. Salad wouldn't last a week. So I've come up with, I can do salad for the first week, and then I'll do I got some healthy grain bread and some what is that? Almond, whatever that healthy spread is. I'm trying, that's part of my eating with a purpose in 2024.
Okay.
But so I'm now doing every 2 weeks, and I had to get a new dry erase because I have the one.
Okay.
I got a nude one, and I got colors, and I was sitting there and planning out the menu for 2 weeks, and that was really satisfying because
2 whole weeks. Okay, but here's my other question with that. You've planned it out for 2 weeks. Tomorrow, let's say you're having pizza, but you get there and you're like, I don't feel like pizza. Do you ever switch your days?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
If not very often though, whatever's on the menu is what we're eating because the night before I pull stuff out of the freezer.
Okay.
But sometimes if I make too much, there's so much. I made homemade vegetable beef soup, right?
That sounds
so we ate it Wednesday. We're gonna eat it tonight. We're gonna eat it tomorrow. We're gonna eat it Monday, and that's just how it is. We're gonna have grilled cheese with it. You're just dealing with it.
Yeah. Sometimes I freeze it because I'm like, oh, I did make too much, but I don't know if I can eat it for a week.
There's some in the freezer too. I gave some to his grandparents. It's crazy. But we don't mind. We can eat the same thing if we like it.
Yeah.
For a couple of days. And then for instance, we're having red beans and rice a week from Monday. So if y'all don't know what a Holy Trinity is, it's your onion, your celery, and your bell pepper, and it's the basis of not the Holy Trinity spiritually, religiously, sorry, but the Cajun people in New Orleans, when they cook, call that the Holy Trinity. It's celery, onion, and bell pepper.
Yeah.
And I knew that wasn't going to last, so I chopped it up real fine, and it's in the freezer. And when I go to make the red beans and rice,
there you go.
Have it, just pull it out.
So didn't you put it all in one bag? Because we've done that, but I do onions, peppers, celery, separate bags.
I just put it all together.
Yeah, I can't let that stuff touch.
Well, it's gonna go in the skillet together.
No, it won't. Not at my house.
Well, it goes in the skillet here with beans and rice and everything else.
Yeah, I don't normally do onions and I don't do peppers.
Yeah. Keith says he doesn't like onions, but I put them in everything I cook.
They're okay if they're little and they've been cooked.
He says he doesn't like them, period, at all, but he's been eating them for 20 years, so I don't know what to tell you.
I won't eat them raw. I can't eat them raw.
Really? I can't eat seafood, so.
Yeah. It makes my tummy hurt, so I'm just not about them.
Oh, yeah, I hear you. So if you didn't watch last week's live show, guys, with Doug from Most Perfectly, him and I talked about all of our food hang-ups, and we had confession time and admitted a bunch of weird stuff about ourselves. You want to go back and watch that? I'm the weirdest person when it comes to food. I literally think certain meat tastes like wet dog smell. That's one of my weird stuff.
With you, because my husband says the same thing about goat cheese. He says that it smells like an old couch and he won't eat it.
I think things pretty much smell the way they taste, and wet dogs smell a certain way, and certain boiled chicken or shredded, just not seasoned meat.
Yeah.
Chewing on a wet lamb or a wet dog.
Oh. No.
I have a lot of weird hang-ups with food.
So that's probably why the planner is helpful for you.
Yeah.
Well,
and I'm such a nerd. I will share this with you guys. You saw what I do with my books, right?
Yeah.
So this is how I keep track of. I used to put my menus and stuff in my bullet journal, but I found this to be much more efficient. Because if I do the Salisbury steaks, I can take and just put them at the bottom.
Okay.
And rotate through my list. And then I can link, you see how they're linked? I can link recipes.
That's
And
awesome.
I can pull this up on my phone if I'm downstairs in the kitchen and just be like, oh, I don't remember how to make the Panera knockoff soup. There it is.
Uh-huh.
So that's how I keep track. And then I just, when I sit down and make the menu, whether it's 7 days or 14 days, I just pick off the list based on what kind of meat I have in the freezer or what soups I have on hand. Nerd City.
I like it though, because part of the problem with having like recipes or having a meal plan thing is because it's all written down. And if you have that link there, that makes it so much easier. Now, why was I going to have this and where was the recipe? It's just so much easier. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you said, do we ever change it? Well, not really, because it's written on the dry erase board on the refrigerator. It's in stone. I can see what's going on tomorrow and pull that out of the fridge. I know what's going on. I know what we're always going to be eating. And so does he. Like, you don't get those, what are we eating for dinner? Fridge. But he gets to put his requests in too, so we don't follow the sheet fully. Like, if he has something he wants, he gets to ask for it.
I started to do a lot of the meal prepping because it's really helpful when you are at the store so that you know what you need to buy. But Mr. Squirrel does not necessarily, he cooks what he feels like that day. So a lot of times I don't know what we're going to have for dinner that day. It's going to be a total surprise to me. So I do all the things that we call them go-withs. So I'm in charge of doing the sides, the vegetables, the salads, and he
the go-withs, yeah.
Go-withs, and he does the proteins. So
I do it all. He's not allowed near food. He cannot cook.
Oh, not at all.
No, get away. But he does the cleanup, and so it's fair.
Yeah, I'll do the cleanup, and I don't mind like baking or I make a really mean cheesecake.
Ooh, I love cheesecake.
I'm not into. I would never probably make a steak, like grill it. I'll do it if that's what he wants me to do for him, but I don't normally eat that, and I don't almost ever have like pork chops or anything like that.
We don't do anything like that.
Yeah.
We don't. He doesn't like pork chops. I don't like pork chops. I don't like any seafood.
Mm-hmm.
We like a lot of stuff with ground beef, like and chicken. And last night we had a roast, actually.
Well, if I said, "Hey, let's go get some ground turkey," he'd be like, "No,
that's wet dog meat."
Really? I like that stuff.
Wet dog meat.
Then how do you feel about sushi?
I don't eat any. No.
Mm-hmm. No, none at all. Nothing.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No. But like last night we had roast with potatoes and carrots, traditional. Mm-hmm. But the leftover roast, I'll shred up and put green chilies, corn, black beans, wrap it in a tortilla, and put red enchilada sauce and cheese and bake it and have like shredded beef enchiladas.
Yeah, that sounds good. We have a lot of traditional stuff, but then I really like seafood. I really like sushi. I really like he calls it my granola stuff. I like I could very easily be like fish only or vegetarian, or my daughter was vegan for a little bit. It was super easy. I'd be fine with that.
I love salad. Salad's like my favorite.
Yeah.
I eat every day at lunch, and there's not a vegetable in the world I have met that I do not like.
Yeah, I'm better at it.
I eat them all. I eat radishes, okra, lima beans. I like them all.
So when I was little, my mom and dad would pick asparagus. It would grow wild behind the house. And that sounds so good to me now. But when I was little, absolutely not. It was horrible. But they would boil it and then put cheese sauce over it. And it was terrible. It was terrible. But I'll eat it now. I'll eat anything now.
My mom would cook it on a cookie sheet in the oven, and then she'd sprinkle lemon juice on it.
Okay, that sounds good.
And it was delicious. And that's how she did spinach too. She would cook the spinach on the stove, but she would put lemon juice in it.
Yeah, that does sound good. And
I like spinach. So
then do you keep track of what I know some people do, especially whenever they're trying to like, they've got like a weight loss program or something like that. Do you keep track of what it is that you're eating?
No, I just try to be more mindful.
But you don't write it down in your journal then, or in your
no,
plan?
I have a tracker on my phone that keeps track of your calories, but I don't use it. I don't really check in with it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, my routines are the same with food. So I have these Kind bars. They're the Walmart brand.
Oh yeah.
I eat that in the morning, and then I, that's all I eat. I fast other than that till noon. Then I have a salad, and then I have a snack like a yogurt or something healthy, and it's the same every day. And then whatever we want for dinner. But I used to, like, if it tasted good, just keep eating and eating and eating until I was like, oh, so full. So now I listen to my body. No matter how good it tastes, when I'm full, I stop.
That's hard, but yes, exactly.
And then I try not to do any junk food. I'm really bad about eating at night. I talked about that on my live stream with Doug, because I read and watch movies at night. So I want snacks.
Yeah.
So I'm trying
to
not do any junk food, any wine or anything except for one cheat day a week. And then that day is just balls to the wall, chips and wine and whatever, cheesecake, whatever I want. I can just go crazy.
There you go. I did a thing last year where I was like, I'm not going to do, actually it was last January. I wasn't going to do any sugar. I was going to cut out the sugar in my life because I eat a lot of sugar, like an obscene amount of sugar every day.
Really?
Probably an unhealthy amount of sugar. And I was really struggling with whether or not I was upset about it or it was affecting my body. I mean, of course it's going to, but I decided that I was just going to like slowly wean myself off of the sugar a little bit this year instead of like hardcore drop dead, not doing any more sugar. Cause that was really.
And your body will go into shock. It's like, I can't just give up caffeine. I weaned down to like one soda a day versus I used to drink. But
I don't drink a lot of, I don't drink caffeine.
Well, I do diet.
Yeah.
And I get headaches if I don't have caffeine. So that shows you.
Right. That's how sugar was. So after I got past that hump, then it was fine. And I didn't eat it at all, but I've let it back in a lot. So I know that I need to moderate that a little bit more. So I'm going to work on that. And maybe that's something I need to keep track of in my journal to keep myself accountable for how much I really am doing. Instead of doing like a whole candy bar, maybe twice a day, I'm trying to do those little ones, maybe like 3. So
I have tiny ones in the freezer, and on my cheat day, I get to have 2.
Well, when it says fun size, they're lying because it's not fun enough.
I'm not a big sugar person. So the reason I'm fat is because, one, I'm disabled and I can't move like I used to. I weighed 90 pounds until I became disabled. But I also worked 100 hours a week, and I was lifting people in and out of wheelchairs and beds and forgetting to eat, and just I was probably unhealthily skinny. But my thing is, I love pasta and I love carbs. I love bread. I love potatoes.
Yep.
I'm not a big sugar person. I make cookies for Christmas. I eat one the day they came out of the oven, and they were warm and great. They're in a bucket on my counter, and I'm like, we should probably take these to your grandparents because I'm never going to eat them.
I'm going to eat it all. Love
it. I made chocolate chip and peanut butter from scratch.
See, now that just, okay. So I'm at my aunt's house. I'm in her room. My mom's in the other room. She's on the phone. Sorry. But there's a side table, and I needed a bucket to like lift my computer up a little bit more so that you weren't looking like at my knees while I was talking to you. The only bucket I could find is my mom's candy bucket. It is a bucket of candy. And I'm sitting here looking at it the whole time, just thinking, that one looks really good. I'm just, but I can't lift it up to get to it because that would be annoying. But I really want to eat that candy right now. This is like staring at me.
That's so funny.
Yeah, candy bars.
We're having homemade beef vegetable soup and grilled cheese.
Turkey and stuffing sounds so good, though. Do you eat that for Thanksgiving?
No.
Okay.
Hamburgers.
Okay.
Hamburgers are something else, tacos. I don't know, but I don't. He likes turkey. He loves turkey, but
Okay.
I don't. I will make chicken and stuffing. There's a casserole dish I make with the chicken and stuffing and gravy all in one dish. You just bake it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. All right. So we are closing in on over an hour and a half.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a couple questions that I like to ask everybody.
Okay.
And then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
So I ask all my guests, what do you feel, or how do you feel, or what do you think about when people say that resellers, we're stealing from the poor and we're just this big problem to society?
I mean, I empathize with them that they don't know, but sometimes those resellers are the poor, and that's the reason that they're trying not to be poor. So, they just are misinformed. It doesn't bother me. They just don't know. Or, maybe they've been blessed enough that they don't have to be resellers. So, and I'm not saying that that's everybody's position, but who are they to judge? They don't know what position somebody else is in. So maybe they're buying it for them. Maybe they're going to use it for a little bit because they need to, and maybe they're going to sell it. And I also have the opinion that it's important to keep everything in circulation because there's just so much
waste.
I think I felt like that for years before, and it isn't just like, being all green and recycle and all that kind of stuff. I think that part is important. But I just feel like there's just even more now that I've been going to the bins for the last 10 years, knowing that the piles and buckets and just loads of garbage that's going to go to the dump, to the landfill, if I don't try to find it a new home. There's a lot of really fine, good, normal stuff that somebody's going to throw away, that it's been thrown away. It needs to find a new home. So if people are weird about that, I guess I just don't pay them any mind or any attention. They just don't know. And I'm not going to preach at them and make them feel bad about it. They'll either get it or they won't.
I kind of have that philosophy of what you said about I'm disabled. So if I didn't do this, I would be poor. This is what pays my bills and puts food on the table.
Yes.
And I have found a way to be a contributing part of society in spite of my disability, instead of sitting here and collecting welfare and taking from society and not giving back, if that makes sense. Not that if you're on disability or welfare, you're a bad person, but I don't need to be because I found a way to not be, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that if anybody that is a hustler that is trying to provide for their family, whether they're a broker or a car salesman or
or a DoorDasher, whatever
whatever your job is, and you can call it a job or financial stability, whatever you want to call it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, because we're buying it from some thrift stores that are out there trying to make a buck off those people too. So
and some people are not paying $20 for Miss Me jeans, trust me.
No, and I've seen it when it leaves the Goodwill thrift store. There's that much that is leaving the thrift store because nobody was there to buy it. There was so many donations that they couldn't process it, that they had to put it in those blue bins. Then it's fair game, in my opinion. There's that much stuff out there. There's just too much.
Okay, so my next question I like to ask everybody goes into my big philosophy on this channel about work-life balance. I think it's so important.
Love it.
It's very easy to become a workaholic in this job, but it's also very easy to sit at home and watch Oprah. So you have to find that balance, and I think it's really important for your mental health. So all that said, what do you do for fun to unwind?
I know probably a lot of people say this is the fun part for me, getting out here and seeing our friends on YouTube. I'm always in a live chat because it's fun. It's social for me too. but I like reselling. That has always been like a side gig because it was, not a real job, but it's still fun. So I know that it's fun, but I sometimes have to remember that it's not your whole life. And sometimes my kids put me in check with that and say, I don't want real squirrel. I want to have a GG today. So sometimes I do have to get checked, and I will respect that. But I really love being in the gym to play volleyball, not to play anymore. Can't do that. My knees won't let me, but I will toss a ball. And I really like to get out and walk. I really like to ride my bike. I love to hike. I love being outside. So if I can, I will go do something like that. And we travel a lot. So we try to get out as much as we can. Life's too short. There's too many things to do, too many things to see. So I hope you are doing amazing things. So
yes. And this is usually where I ask, what are you doing this weekend? We all know you're traveling.
I'm not. I'll be, this weekend. Oh, I'm having a yard sale this weekend. So I'm in Florida. My folks had a place there. So we're cleaning things up. My dad passed in October. So we're getting things put away and put together. So we are having a yard sale tomorrow morning. I have my alarm set. So we are going to try to hopefully thin things out to make it easier to, get the house ready for sale. So that's what we're doing.
That's fun. And you're with your family. So that's fun.
My mom.
Do you have any last words of wisdom for the people?
Wisdom? You come to my channel for fun, not for wisdom. You know what? I do want to say I am grateful to you because your posts on Instagram are every day when I see them pop up, I just want to be like, yes, that. But if I post that make that comment every single day, you'd be like, okay, enough. No, every time that you put something out, I'm like, oh, that resonates with me. I agree with this. I appreciate this. I just want to be like, yay. I love what you're doing. I love what you're putting out. And a lot of times you'll say something or post something that's encouraging or something that I needed to hear today or whatever. And I think that I'm grateful for that.
Thank you. That means a lot to me because you as a content creator understand that sometimes we feel like we're posting to nobody or we're just talking to the wall and nobody hears you or sees what you're trying to do.
Or
so
cares.
that means a lot to me though, that I guess not so much that I'm being noticed, but that I'm that I'm doing something like that's meaningful.
Yeah. And I think that. So I make sure that I heart it, double tap it so that I get to see it again the next day.
So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you guys should.
Yeah.
I'm Flippin Hippos and I do sometimes I miss a morning and I don't beat myself up, but most mornings I put up an inspirational post, whether it's a quote from Disney or Toad saying, I woke up today.
At least I got up today. Yeah.
You know what? Let's show some folks. And also, you should be following Kristin on Instagram as well. And Let's Do Lunch podcast. I have some links down in the description box for you guys for her podcast and her YouTube as well. And you can follow her. But just things like this. I put things up like this every morning. Just something motivational. And there's
the one about Toad. Yeah.
Yeah. It's completely mood based. So before I get out of bed in the morning, the first thing I do is what kind of mood am I in? What do I need to hear today? What do I need to feel? And I just like search it and post it real quick. And then I start my day.
I do Monday motivation on my stories. And when I first started it was more for me because I needed to be like, okay, I am a one-man band. I'm at home by myself. Nobody's going to be like getting my group chat thing together saying, okay, everybody in my department, let's get this stuff done. Today's going to be a great day. Let's meet our numbers. Nobody is doing that rah-rah morning meeting for anybody but me. So I have to motivate myself. And if I'm going to be doing affirmations of some kind, I might as well be like, all right, guys, come on, let's do this. We got this. Let's do this together. And probably
Yep.
that volleyball coach in me was like, let's go, guys. Come on, keep
Yep.
pushing. Don't stop.
I used to coach my kids' soccer team, so I get that. But I was in the healthcare field for years, and so my need to take care of people is not being met. And so that's why I said it means something to me when I know at least something's. That's why I started YouTube, because
I love it.
Teaching on YouTube is kind of like help. It's not the same. I'm not helping people learn how to tie their shoes anymore, but
yeah, but it is probably when you're putting it out into the void, and like you said, not knowing if anybody's going to watch it or hear it or appreciate it or care at all. So no,
but it's how I feel the need to take care of people is by teaching. So
yeah, love it. You do.
All right, those are I guess our words of wisdom, guys. If you're watching live or you're watching the replay, please know that I appreciate that you took the time out of your very important life to spend a couple of hours with me and Kristin. Time is very valuable. And when you give your time to me, it really does mean something. So I appreciate you guys.
That you let me come on. So thank you.
And thank you to Kristin for coming on. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. I saw how enthusiastic you were about the bullet journals. I'm like, we have got to get together and talk about these bullet journals.
Probably a little too much sometimes.
My channel's all about organization and teaching.
You speak my language, and you had you had me at bullet journal.
Yeah, I would love that if you send me the books. And thank you for watching, you guys. I appreciate you. Like I tell you every single week, make sure you take time out this weekend for yourself, your family, your friends, your pets. If you just work, you're not mentally good for yourself or anybody else. So take some time. Take a walk with your dog. Sing to your hamster. Do something. Read a book. All right, guys. See you next time. Bye.